on this week with Craft With Us, I've got, of course, my mom here, and we have our special guest, Bear, who's making an appearance in this video. We are going to be making Mickey Mouse ghost and bat pillows. So the items you're going to need for this project is you're going to need some embroidery floss. You're going to need some white and black fabric. So I have 1 yard here of white flannel. You could use whatever white material you like. We just decided to go with flannel since it's a lot easier, and since these are going to be pillows, that it is still soft. For the bats though, we are going to be using, I have it off camera right now, but it is a black felt that we're going to be making the bats out of. You're also going to want to have a fabric scissors. These are scissors specifically used for fabric, so that way you can make an even straight cut without getting too much of the fraying. You're also going to be needing some fabric pins, so that way you can pin your fabric before you cut it. And then you're going to need some sort of embroidery needle. We picked up all of these supplies at Hobby Lobby, but you can find them at...
Paper together, and then we taped it. So we have 4, and then it's all in one. And then on the other side, if you can see it, it's a ghost of Mickey. And that's going to be the pattern. The ears and the ears. And it all comes down like a little ghost.
So once you have your 4 pieces together, you're then going to want to draw or trace a pattern that you're going to want to use as a guideline to cut out your fabric. So I went ahead and drew Mickey as a ghost off camera. I would recommend that you use pencil before you finalize it, but once you're happy with your image, you can then go ahead and go over it with a black marker before you cut it out. Once you're happy with your shape, you can go ahead and cut it out. So we're gonna go ahead and get the ghost Mickey cut out. I already have the bat already prepped and ready to go, so I'm not gonna be showing that on camera, but we will go ahead and show you what we do with the ghost. Guys, so once you have everything cut out for your pattern, you're gonna have something that looks like this. So we've got Ghost Mickey, and
here's the bat we cut out. And his wings, and his ears, and his other wings.
So for the Mickey bat, I used 6 pieces of paper because he is longer than taller, and it's gonna take a little bit of time to either trace or freehand a sketch of what you're looking for. But basically what I did is I took 2 round objects that I had in my house. So I used a round fan and then a round plastic die cut that I had. And that's what I used to create the round circles to get a perfect circle. And then what I did is I just drew 1 wing on my best side. So the left one is what I drew first. And then I just folded him in half and traced the outline on the other side, so that way they would be proportional and even. So those are just some tips to pass along if you do go ahead and do the same project. So the other important thing is that when you're making your pattern, what I did, because I want to have this pattern for future, is I went ahead and taped the seams just to give it some more stability, especially when you are transferring them to fabric, just so that way it will last longer. Now if you're just wanting to make a one and done, that's fine. You don't have to really do that step, but for me, we did go ahead and do that since we have some other projects in mind to use these for as well. So the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your pattern and you're going to want to pin it to your fabric. We're going to be using our solid white flannel material in 1 yard. And we have it folded in quarters, so that way when we cut it out, it will cut 4 pieces. Typically you want to fold your fabric in half, so that way you will have 2 pieces when you cut it out, which is what we're going to have to do for the bat, which is being cut out of felt, which is a lot thicker than the flannel. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and we'll show you the process. Guys, so once you get your pattern pinned to your fabric, you'll have something that looks like this. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's white on white, but I promise you we do have it pinned on here. You're going to want to pin all the way around your fabric. You don't need to go overboard on pins, but you just want to make sure that it is secure and it's not going to move around on you when you're cutting the fabric. Otherwise, you're going to end up with 2 pieces that are not going to line up very well when you're putting the pillow together. So next, you're going to want to go ahead and cut out your pieces. So we're going to go ahead and get these cut out, and then we'll be right back. Guys, so we've got them all cut out and we are ready to move on to the next step.
We're back and we cut the pattern out, and this is what it's going to look like. So now we're going to put the face on Mickey. We're going to put the fangs, and then we're going to put eyes on him first before we start sewing it, because it would be a lot easier to do it before you stuffed him up. And that way you can get behind him to sew it.
Yes, correct.
Yep.
So we're gonna go ahead and get his little face pinned on, and we'll show you what we're doing as we're doing it, and then we'll come back once he is all finished and has his little face on. Okay. We're also gonna go ahead and get the ghost done as well, so we can show you that as well. Yep. All right guys, so let's jump in and we'll show you what we're doing. All right guys, so after a very long time, we finally got our little ghost faces stitched on. There's my ghost, there's Mom's ghost. Just a word of caution if you do decide to go ahead and do this craft, in order to embroider these on, it can take quite a bit of time. Mom was smart and brought over her embroidery hoops. These are the small ones. You just go ahead and fasten it to the pieces that you want to make it a little bit more easy to stitch, especially if you're hand stitching them like we did. But I like how they turned out. I think they turned out really cute. So it's definitely worth the time. Just be aware that it will take you some time to work through these. So we do have our ghosts already set up. They have their little faces on. And then we also have our little bats that also have their little faces on. And so now we're going to be moving on to the next step, which is going to be to pin your 2 pieces together. So you should have one piece with the face on it and the other piece without. So what you're going to do is you're going to put right sides together. You're going to pin around your pieces. So you're going to put your little pins and you're going to put them all the way around. And then you're going to take this, once they're all pinned together, so you have one piece, and then you're going to take this to your sewing machine and you are going to go ahead and stitch them together. Now you do want to make sure that you leave about a 2 to 3 inch opening somewhere on your piece, so that way you can stuff it later once you're finished stitching it on the sewing machine. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Hey guys, welcome back. So this took a lot longer than we had anticipated. We're gonna be straight up and honest with you on these projects. This took quite a bit of time to figure out. We each have a Singer sewing machine, and they were both having problems stitching through the felt fabric. Eventually we figured out how to get it to work. I ended up stitching my bat. So my bat is machine stitched on the wings, the bottom piece, the other wing, but then from this side to this side, I ended up having to hot glue it just because my sewing machine was just not having it with the felt. It might have been my thread that I was using. I'm still not sure exactly what it was, but it kept bunching up and getting stuck, so I gave up on that. And then on my ghost, he's actually complete, so I'll show you and explain what we did on the ghost as well. But as far as machine stitching it, my machines kept having problems. Eventually I got it sorted out after I decided to go ahead and hand stitch from the ears, the top of the head, and the other ear. So those I actually hand stitched, and it worked out quite well. It did take obviously a lot longer than had my machine been working, but for whatever reason, I think it might have just been the thread that I was using. I think that's what Mom's problem was with her machine as well. I'll let her explain her situation so that maybe if you run into the same thing while making this project, we can at least be some form of helpful with trying to get through it, because it is quite frustrating when you're trying to work on a project and get it done. So we do apologize for the delay getting this video up, but it did take quite some time, and as you can tell, I'm still not done with my bat. But once you do get it all stitched up, I used a blanket stitch. I went on YouTube and found a tutorial on a blanket stitch and followed the tutorial to a T, and that is how I got this look. Now Mom, she actually, I don't know what kind of stitch she did, but it's turned out still really cute and gave the same effect. But I think, how did you do it?
I just went like
a swirl?
Yeah, just a swirl, go around, but not really tight. Just do it real loose.
Okay.
Yeah, just do it like in, out, and do it again and out, do it again and out. But don't do it really tight. Just do it real loose. Not too loose, but loose.
So, as you can tell, we each used a different stitch, but we still got a very similar look on both pieces.
Make sure you leave it open.
The one other thing I do want to mention is that you do want to leave some sort of an opening about 2 to 3 inches, so that way you can stuff it, since it is supposed to be a pillow. So you want to make sure that you leave that open, and then after that you can either hot glue it, stitch it, whatever you want to use to get that closed up, and then you'll have a finished pillow. So that is the final step for us, is we're going to go ahead and stuff ours today, and we'll show you the final product of them being stuffed. I'll actually let Mom show you her bat, because her bat turned out really cute. Since mine doesn't have the finishing stitches on it yet, she went ahead and did her little, I guess we're going to call it a swirl stitch. I'm sure there's a technical name for it, but I have no idea. This is, where did you get this? Hobby Lobby?
Hobby Lobby.
It's like a little eyelash material and a bright orange. It does have a lot of sparkle to it, and it turned out really cute. It stands out really well on her bat. I love how it turned out. So she's got it all done. So we just need to go ahead and get them stuffed and then seal them up, and we'll be right back. All right, so the next step after you figure out the sewing situation and get those edges embroidered on, next thing you're gonna wanna do is go ahead and stuff it. Now because we do a lot of craft projects, have had a lot of filling in the house in various brands and stuff. So Mom actually brought this one over. This is a huge bag of polyfill. You can buy any brand, and they have different sizes of bags, whatever suits your boat. If you even have an old pillow that you don't want anymore, you can take the stuffing out of it and recycle it and put it in one of these. This is just what we have on hand, but any brand will work. We're gonna go ahead and get
Stuff it in.
We're gonna get the ghost stuffed, and then we'll show you the finished project. think Mom will probably stuff her bat today as well. Mine, I still need to finish the embroidery on it. It's going to take me a little bit longer, but you'll see them together in the final clips as well. So we'll see you when we come back. Guys, welcome back. So we have finally finished the pillow project, and we are so excited with how they turned out. So we'll show you what we ended up doing to finish them off. So here is the ghost and Mom's. So the ghost pillow was inspired heavily by the actual stitched ghost pillow at Disney. They were very heavily inspired by that. So we just did a double bow on them and then tied it with some orange glitter ribbon. I stitched mine on, Mom hot glue gunned hers on. Just depends how you want to do it. Doesn't really matter. But this is the final product for the ghost. And then the bat, Mom's the only one that has hers completed right now. I still have to do my embroidery on it, but we can go ahead and show you what it will look like when you finish. So this is the bat, and Mom actually went ahead and glued on some additional felt circles in the eyes to give it more detail. But here he is all puffed up and ready for Halloween. Turned out really cute. This was a very challenging project. We learned quite a bit. The next time we decide to make a pillow, we'll have knowledge to use on that next project.
Yeah, it'll go easier as it goes on. Yeah.
Right. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you again in our next video. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my goodness, this took forever. So just a... Are you done?
Okay, go ahead.
And now the battery's almost dead.
Your battery's almost dead?
Yeah. I'm gonna go...
Not our day.
20 hours later.
We finally did it! Yay!